Hello, my dear friend. A peaceful space where we slow down, find our calm, and learn the language from a place of kindness, not pressure. Whether you're new here or you've been with us for a while, I'm truly glad you've chosen to share this time with me. I'm recording this as the evening settles. The light in my room is soft, and the world outside my window is quiet. There's a gentle hum of distant traffic, like the world is breathing out after a long day. It's in these quiet moments that we can truly listen to the world, to the language, and to ourselves. When I started this channel, my hope was simple. I wanted to create a corner of the internet that felt like a deep, calming breath. A place where improving your English was part of a bigger journey. A journey inward. Because I believe language is more than vocabulary. It's a bridge to understanding our own thoughts and connecting with others on a deeper level. To everyone who has been part of this community, thank you. Your presence, your shared stories in the comments, they remind me that we're not alone in this. We're building something meaningful together, one word, one breath at a time. I hope you're feeling peaceful wherever you are. Right now I'm holding a warm mug of tea, feeling its heat seep into my hands. It's a simple comfort, but a real one. Have you ever felt untethered? Like you're floating through your days without a solid anchor? Maybe things are changing quickly around you, or you feel a little lost about what comes next. I've been there too. In a world that often feels chaotic and loud, it's easy to feel adrift. We often look for our anchor in external things, a new job, a perfect relationship, a certain level of fluency in English. We think, when I achieve that, then I'll feel secure. But what if the anchor isn't something you find out there? What if it's something you cultivate within? That anchor is self-trust. It's the quiet, often overlooked belief that you can handle what comes, that you have the resources within you to navigate uncertainty. It's not about knowing all the answers. It's about trusting that you will find them along the way. Think about learning English. There are so many rules, exceptions, and strange pronunciations. It's easy to feel shaky, to doubt your ability to ever master it. Every time you hesitate to speak for fear of a mistake, that's a moment where your anchor feels weak. But what if every time you tried to speak, even with a mistake, you were actually strengthening that anchor? You were proving to yourself that you could survive a moment of imperfection. That is the very essence of building self-trust. It's not built through flawless performances. It's built in the messy human moments of trying, stumbling, and trying again. It's the voice that whispers, I don't know this word yet, but I can look it up. Or my grammar wasn't perfect, but I was understood. This applies to so much more than language. It's about trusting your judgment, your instincts, and your resilience. It's about believing that you are capable of learning, adapting, and growing, no matter the circumstance. We often treat confidence as a destination. I'll be confident when I'm fluent. But what if we treated it as a practice? What if, instead of waiting to feel confident, we acted from a place of self-trust right now? This starts with a simple shift in language, both in your mind and out loud. It's the move from a fixed mindset to a growth mindset. A fixed mindset says, I'm bad at this. I'll never get it. It sees a challenge as a wall. A growth mindset says, this is challenging, but I can learn. I haven't mastered this yet. It sees a challenge as a path. When you say, I can learn, you are actively building your anchor. You are telling your brain that you are not a fixed entity but a work in progress. And that is a powerful, liberating thing. It turns anxiety into curiosity. Instead of thinking, I'm going to fail this conversation, you can think, I wonder what I'll learn from this interaction. This tiny shift changes the entire emotional experience. There's a story I love about a renowned potter named Alara. She was famous for her beautiful, unique vases. A young apprentice once asked her, aren't you ever afraid? What if you make a mistake and ruin the clay? Alara smiled and replied, the clay doesn't need me to be perfect. It needs me to be present. My hands have learned to trust themselves. They know that even if the shape wobbles, we can work with it. Sometimes the wobble becomes the most beautiful part of the design. She continued, I don't trust myself to never make a mistake. I trust myself to respond to whatever happens on the wheel. That is the real skill. Her words have stayed with me. Self-trust isn't about guaranteeing a perfect outcome. It's about trusting your ability to respond, to adapt, to learn from the wobbles in your life. Your wobbles in English, in your career, in your relationships, they aren't failures. They are part of your unique design. In a world full of opinions from teachers, friends, family, and social media, it's easy to outsource our sense of direction. We look for external validation to tell us we're on the right path. But deep down, you have an inner compass. It's your intuition, your gut feeling, your core values. Building self-trust means learning to quiet the external noise and listen for that inner signal. It means making a choice and trusting that you made it with the best information you had at the time. It means ending a conversation and trusting that you were authentic, even if your grammar wasn't perfect. It means setting a boundary and trusting that your peace is more important than being liked by everyone. Every time you honor that inner compass, you strengthen your anchor. You send a message to yourself: I am reliable. I can guide myself. So, how do we start building this unshakable self-trust? We start gently. 1. Keep small promises to yourself. Did you say you would study for 15 minutes? Do it. Did you promise yourself a walk? Take it. Every kept promise, no matter how small, is a brick in the foundation of your self-trust. 2. Reframe your inner dialogue. Catch yourself when you say, I'm terrible at this. Gently correct it to, this is difficult for me right now and I'm learning. 3. Celebrate the attempt, not just the outcome. Didn't speak up in the meeting? But did you prepare what you wanted to say? Celebrate that preparation. The effort is where the growth happens. Remember, this is not about building an arrogant, loud confidence. It's about cultivating a quiet, steady knowing. It's the feeling of being grounded in your own skin, no matter the weather outside. As we come to the end of our time together, I invite you to take one more deep, calming breath. Inhale slowly, and as you exhale, let go of any pressure you've been carrying to be perfect, to have it all figured out. Trust that you are exactly where you need to be on your journey. Trust that your efforts, even the invisible ones, are adding up. Trust that you are capable of handling the challenges and joys that await you. You are building your anchor every single day. And with that anchor firmly within you, you can navigate any sea. Thank you for listening, for reflecting, and for being part of this community. If this message resonated with you, I'd love to hear about it. Tell me in the comments, what is one small promise you can keep for yourself today? Until next time, be gentle with your journey. Keep learning, keep trusting, and never forget that the most important voice to believe in is your own. In our quest to learn a new language, we focus so much on speaking. But what about listening? Not just to others, but to the quiet voice within you. This might be the most important listening practice of all. Your inner voice often speaks in whispers, through a feeling in your stomach, a sudden sense of calm, or a restless energy. When you're trying to decide whether to take that new class or join that conversation in English, pause for a moment. Don't immediately search for external opinions. Ask yourself, what feels right to me? The first, quiet answer that surfaces is usually your truth. Learning to distinguish this voice from the noise of fear or outside expectations is like tuning a radio to the right frequency. At first there might be static, but with practice the signal becomes clear. This is self-trust in action. Valuing your own internal guidance system above all others. Imagine your mind as a vast library. Every experience you've had, every challenge you've faced, is a book on its shelves. Self-trust means knowing this library exists and believing you have the resources within it to handle new situations. That time you navigated a foreign city alone? That's a book. The moment you recovered from a mistake at work? Another book. The first complete sentence you spoke in English? A very important book. When faced with a new challenge, you don't need to have all the answers immediately. You simply need to trust that your library contains relevant wisdom. The answer might be in a book you haven't opened in years, but it's there. You have survived 100% of your difficult days so far. That is not a coincidence. It's evidence of your capability. We live in a culture that glorifies constant motion. But self-trust sometimes looks like stillness. It's trusting yourself enough to say, I need to pause. I need to rest. This isn't quitting. It's strategic replenishment. Think of a musician. The notes are important, but the rests between them give the music its rhythm and meaning. Your pauses, whether for 5 minutes of quiet breathing or a day of doing nothing, are not empty spaces. They are where your mind integrates what it has learned, where your spirit repairs itself, and where new insights often emerge. Giving yourself permission to pause is an act of profound self-trust. It says, I trust that stepping back now will allow me to move forward more effectively later. We all carry stories about ourselves. I'm the kind of person who I've never been good at. Self-trust requires us to become editors of these personal narratives. Look at the stories you tell yourself, especially about learning English. I'm bad with languages can be edited to, I am in the process of becoming fluent. I always freeze when speaking can become, I am learning to feel more comfortable in conversations. This isn't about lying to yourself. It's about shifting from a fixed past tense story to a fluid present tense narrative of growth. Every time you choose the edited version, you reinforce your trust in your own potential. You are the author of your story. Make sure you're writing a version you want to live. We often wait until we feel completely ready before we take action. We want perfect pronunciation before we speak, complete confidence before we apply for a job, guaranteed success before we begin. But self-trust thrives on imperfect action. It's the courage to speak that sentence even when you're unsure of the grammar. It's applying for that position even if you don't meet every single qualification. It's the understanding that readiness isn't a feeling you wait for. It's a state you create by beginning. Each imperfect action is a vote of confidence in yourself. It says, I trust that I can figure things out as I go. I trust that I can handle whatever outcome emerges. This is how we build evidence for our own capability, one brave, imperfect step at a time. Can you be your own best friend? Self-trust grows in the soil of self-acceptance. It means being able to sit with yourself in silence and feel comfortable. It means treating yourself with the same kindness you'd offer a dear friend who was struggling. When you make a mistake in your English practice, instead of criticizing yourself, try offering understanding. That was challenging. It's okay to be learning. This compassionate self-talk isn't soft. It's strategic. It creates a psychological environment where risk-taking and growth can occur without the paralyzing fear of self-judgment. The more you become a safe sanctuary for yourself, the more you'll trust yourself to venture into uncertain territory, both in language and in life. When you begin to trust yourself, something beautiful happens. It creates ripples that extend far beyond you. Your growing self-assurance makes you a calmer conversation partner. Your willingness to be imperfect gives others permission to do the same. Your inner stability becomes a gift to those around you. In language learning, this might mean you become more patient with others' mistakes, creating a more supportive environment for everyone. In your relationships, it might mean you show up more authentically, attracting connections based on who you truly are rather than who you think you should be. Your personal anchor of self-trust doesn't just steady you. It becomes a mooring post that others can briefly tie onto when their own seas are rough. The world often tells us there's a right timeline for everything, when we should be fluent, when we should have our career established, when we should have life figured out. But self-trust means honoring your unique rhythm. Maybe you learn best in short, frequent bursts rather than long study sessions. Maybe your career path looks unconventional. Maybe your progress in English happens in sudden leaps after periods that seem like plateaus. Comparing your Chapter 5 to someone else's Chapter 20 will only erode your self-trust. Your journey is yours alone. Trust the timing of your life. Trust that what you need to learn will present itself when you're ready to learn it. Your rhythm is not wrong. It's uniquely yours. You will have days when self-trust feels distant. Days when you doubt yourself, when you revert to old stories, when the anchor feels loose. This is not failure, this is part of being human. The practice isn't about maintaining perfect, unwavering self-trust every moment. The practice is about noticing when you've drifted and gently guiding yourself back. It's the quiet act of returning to your breath, to your intentions, to your truth. Each return is more powerful than never having drifted at all. It proves to yourself that you can always find your way back to center. This reliable return is the very essence of self-trust. As we end our time together today, I want you to carry this simple truth with you. The most important relationship you will ever have is the one with yourself. And at the heart of that relationship is trust. Through all of life's changes, new countries, new languages, new challenges, this one friend remains constant. You. When you trust yourself, you carry an unshakable companion wherever you go. You don't need to have all the answers. You just need to trust the one who is asking the questions. You don't need to see the entire path. You just need to trust the walker. May you become a deep and true friend to yourself. May you listen to your whispers. May you honor your rhythm. And may you trust with every fiber of your being that you are exactly the person needed to navigate your unique, beautiful life. Thank you for walking this path of trust with me today.